We'd like to launch our place picker when the Add New Location button is clicked. So the logic will go inside the click event handler here. Now to launch the place picker interface, you'll need to create an intent and start a new activity. So to do this, in the main activity, we'll use placepicker.intentBuilder to create the intent builder, and then call build to create the intent. So once you have that intent built, we're going to call start activity for result and pass in the intent along with the custom arbitrary request code. So here I've already defined this constant place_picker_request as a constant for that purpose. So the start activity for result method will launch a new activity with the specified intent and return to the main activity eventually when the user either picks a place or hits cancel. Now to handle the user's action, we need to implement the onActivityResult method, which is triggered once the place picker activity is complete. However, it's important to remember that onActivityResult is called whenever any activity that was started by this method, startActivityForResult, is completed. So that's why inside of onActivityResult, we'll need to check that the request code is the same one that we've used when starting our place picker activity earlier up here. So if that is the case, where the request code matches and the result was okay, then you can find out which place the user has selected. So calling placepicker.getPlace will get you all the information about the selected place in the form of a place object. Next, we'd like to store the selected place information into our database. Unfortunately, Google's terms and conditions prohibit saving any place's information, with the exception of place ID, for longer than 30 days. That means we're only allowed to store the place ID and then retrieve the place detail from the server whenever we need them again. So for now, let's just get the place ID into the database, and then in the next exercise, we'll get to retrieve the place details from the server again and then display them in the recycler view. So back in our code, let's extract the place ID from the place object and then insert it into the database by creating a content value object and then passing it into their content resolver insert method. So you might have noticed up here that Android Studio is complaining about placepicker not being surrounded by a try-catch statement. Well, that's really important because if the device didn't have an up-to-date Google Play services set up, this will cause the app to crash. Now to handle that appropriately, you can actually catch those specific exceptions and display a message to the user explaining that they need to install or update Google Play services in order to continue. However, in this particular exercise, I'll just log the exception as messages here. Now the place picker should be connected to the Add New Location button, but nothing will be added to the recycler view just yet. We'll work on adding that feature in the next exercise.